Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are talking all about underarms and how to care for them. Now, at first it may seem like kind of an embarrassing topic to discuss, but I don't think so because we all have underarms that need care and we all pretty much deal with the same issues and we sort of want, the same kind of clean, fresh, non-sweaty, non-smelly underarms, right? We all deal with the same things. So it's not really a secret or anything. So as you guys may have noticed, I tend to wear tank tops quite a lot, and that's because I live in a very warm climate. So it's really important to me to upkeep my underarms, make sure that they're clean and smooth, and I want to be smelling fresh all the time. 365 days a year, my underarms are on display basically. So it's really important to keep fresh and you want to feel good and confident, raising your arms or anything like that. If you're out at the beach or say up at the river, whatever, you want to make sure that you're stubble free and looking and feeling your best. So I'm going to share all of my personal underarm care tips with you right now, starting with hair removal. So we have different options for that, right? You can shave, you can use an epilator, you can wax. My personal favorite option between those three is an epilator. So currently I'm using Enjoy Imagine, and this is my like holy grail underarm care product right here. And I purchased this myself, no one sent it to me. I bought it on Folica.com and they were having a sale, and so I got it like $25 off, so I was really stoked about that. So anyways, it has like 70 or 72 tweezers in there, and I've read from reviews and whatnot that the more tweezers it has is supposed to be more efficient because it can pull more hairs out faster instead of having to go over the same spot, over and over again. So that's why I went with this particular model, and I have been really, really happy with it. Now, as far as the pain factor goes, in my experience, being that this is the only one that I've used, I did experience pain the first time. We all have different pain tolerance levels. I've always felt that I kind of have a high pain tolerance level, but it did hurt. It still hurt the very first time that I used it under my arms. Although I will say that that was the only time. Ever since then, that was the only time it hurt. Ever since then, I've used it several times and I haven't had any pain hardly at all. It feels like, a whole bunch of little pinching, but after that first time it was really, that kind of pain subsided, and I guess my underarms are now used to it. So that's definitely a plus with that. And I will also mention that this is not a cordless. It does have a cord, so you do plug it in. And the reason that I decided to go with that instead of like a rechargeable cordless one is because I read that those can kind of lose power over time. So that might be an option to consider also. Now, I used to be a shaver, and I used to use Venus razors. I used them for many, many years, and I always thought I was happy with shaving until I just kind of started realizing that I needed to move on to something that was going to get at the roots, because as you may know, my brunette girls out there, or guys, when you have dark hair and you have kind of lighter skin, the hair, the root that's under the skin is going to show through, and it's going to look still kind of dark. It's going to make the area look dark. So I will show you my little tips for shaving though, because I know that there's still a lot of people out there that shave. And if you're younger and you're just starting out or whatnot, you might need some tips for that. So when it comes to shaving, what I do, see, this part of your arm here, that can kind of cause like a little fold and it can kind of get in the way. So I always would just kind of use my thumb and just kind of pull the skin taut like that, just like that. And I would go in short little motions. So just short motions, and I tried to go in the direction that the hair was growing, so that way you're not kind of you're not tearing the skin up too much, because if you go against the grain, sometimes it can really kind of give razor burn and irritate the skin more. So if you can go in the direction that the hair is growing, it's a little more gentle on that delicate skin area. So those are my tips. Pull the skin taut and shave in little short strokes, not long strokes where you can irritate the skin too much. So now with that said, again, I prefer epilating over shaving just because of that fact, because being a brunette, I know I have blonde hair on top, but I'm a true brunette. you know, cutting the hair off at the surface, it was still leaving those dark kind of, you know, the dark root underneath. So that's why I switched to the epilating, just because I wanted to remove that root and just make sure that it was completely clean, no dark areas, no dark stubble hiding under there at all. And again, the other option was waxing. I have never personally had my underarms waxed, but that's an option that you can always look into. I personally didn't want to wait around for hair growth because, like I said, you know, my underarms are pretty much on display 365 days a year, and I don't want to have any one day where I have to have stubble or hair growth waiting to be able to wax, you know. So we talked about hair removal, now let's talk about cleansing and deodorant. So for cleansing, I'm not super particular. I just try to find body washes that are as natural as possible. So the two I'm currently switching between are this Giovanni, let's see, this is Eco Chic Technology Moisturizing Body Wash, Hazelnut Vanilla, it smells amazing. And then this Desert Essence Coconut Nourishing Body Wash. So those are just the two I just happen to be switching between at the moment. And I like them because they're pretty much all natural. Now, I also have my puff here, so I use that, and so you want to get that, you know, get your body wash on your puff really well, get it worked in there really well, and cleanse out any of that bacteria that has gathered under your arms throughout the day from perspiring. So when it comes to deodorant and antiperspirant, I will give you my advice, and that is to not use antiperspirant or deodorants that contain chemicals. I would just avoid those altogether. I used to use, you know, I used to switch around, use all kinds, try all kinds of deodorants and antiperspirants, and you know what would happen to me? I would end up with, like, say on like my white tank tops is when I would notice it the most, is a yellow ring on, like, under my arms on my tank top, and that is just gross. That is not a look that we want to walk around with, right? Yellow on our clothing, yellow stains, that's just not good. So as soon as I stopped using all of those deodorants that have all those nasty chemicals, that went away and that stopped happening. So that was the cause of those yellow stains. So not only can those deodorants and antiperspirants cause yellow staining on your clothes, it can cause it on your underarms too. So that's why I would recommend avoiding those and trying to go with an all-natural deodorant. So what I like to use are these crystal stone deodorants. So this one is the brand that I'm currently using, Amazing Tide Crystal Deodorant Stone. They're hypoallergenic, they eliminate odor, they're unscented, they're non-staining, 24-hour protection. They really do work, and I've used these for several years, different brands over the years, but these are what I go to. They're like my holy grail deodorant. They're completely natural. They only have, I mean, the only ingredient in here is mineral salts. So it's just a stone that looks like that. So there you have it. This part is just plastic, so you don't have to twist it up or anything. It's just there. You get it wet, you just run it under the faucet for a couple seconds, and it's got a little drain there, so if there's any water that goes down in there, it'll drain out. So anyways, you get it wet and just apply that generously under your arm and you're good to go. So I've found that those work really, really well for me, and I'm happy that there's no more staining problem going on. It's not staining the skin on my arm or my clothing. Now, if you don't want to, you know, fuss with, not that it's a fuss at all, it's pretty basic, but if you don't want to, you know, worry about having to get it wet under a faucet or anything, they also make sprays now that have, you know, the same kind of, it's just crystal and water basically. So yeah, this is mineral salts and purified water. So already in a spray. Now this I noticed, I kind of stopped using this and I went back to my regular crystal because you gotta watch out for getting it on your shirt. So when you spray, if you've already put on your clothes, you just want to watch out for getting your clothing wet. And then it looks like you were sweating or something. So that's the only thing with the spray. Now let's talk about a couple of things that we might not normally think about when it comes to caring for our underarms, and that is lotion, like moisturizing your underarms, keeping the skin well moisturized. That is something that needs to be done, and it can really help if you're experiencing any kind of crepiness. Like years ago, I had never thought about applying lotion under my arms. It was just not something that I ever thought of or realized that I should be doing. But I did have like, some kind of little bit of like tiny little bumps, and it was a little bit crepey looking. It just wasn't the prettiest, healthiest looking underarm. And then I realized that maybe I should start treating it more like I do the rest of my skin. You know, I'm always lotioning up the rest of my skin and caring for, you know, my neck and face face. And really, I think that it's a good idea to kind of treat your underarms because it's such delicate skin. If you treat it more like you treat the skin on your neck and on your face, it's the same kind of sensitive skin. So if you treat it the same, then it kind of is getting the same sort of benefits. So one of my favorite lotions, this is a body lotion. You could use like a face moisturizer too under your arms, but I just used this body lotion. This is my favorite. It's 100% pure coconut nourishing body cream, and it's completely natural. So this keeps my underarms really well moisturized. It keeps them from getting crepey or bumpy looking, and it also makes me smell really good all day long. So it has a really good fragrance. I definitely recommend checking out 100% pure body lotions. And don't forget to exfoliate, and exfoliating under your arms is going to do the same as it does for any other part of your body. It's going to keep it smooth and clean, and it's going to make sure it cleans off any of those dead skin cells. So I do have a couple of different natural recipes, probably with things you already have in your kitchen that you can whip up together and use them under your arms. And these are also things that are going to help not only exfoliate under your arms and keep them smooth and pretty, but it's going to help keep them lighter. So there's some lightening ingredients that I use in these. So I want to share a couple of my recipes with you for exfoliating under the arms and keeping them soft and pretty. So all you need for this recipe is just sugar and lemon. So I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I have fresh lemon here, or I have lemon that's already juiced, and these aren't from concentrate, so those would be just as good as using fresh if you like. It's your preference. So I'm just going to use some of the fresh. And basically you just want enough lemon, and not seeds. You just want enough lemon in there to soak the sugar and make a good paste. So I'm just going to take a scoop of my lemon sugar scrub. So just massage in circular motions. And also if you have any issues with darkened skin under your arms, you can leave this on as a mask as well, because the lemon and the sugar combined are going to help to lighten the skin. And if you do this over time, it can lighten it over time. So you can leave it on for 15-20 minutes or even up to an hour, whatever you like. For this recipe, all you need is baking soda and water. So I measured out 1 teaspoon of water, so I've already got that in my bowl here. And I'm just going to get an equal amount of baking soda. So we just want that to be a nice smooth paste. And if you want it thicker, you can use more baking soda. So I've got my baking soda scrub here. I'm just going to take a little bit on my fingers and apply. So just massage in circular motions, and once you've exfoliated, you can leave it on again as a mask, 15-20 minutes or an hour, whatever you prefer. And as for how often to do these exfoliators or masks under your arms, really you can do them as often as you feel that you need, because over time, again, they will help lighten the area and lighten the skin. So if you need extra lightening, you can do them more often. I tend to just do this maybe, twice a month or so, but you could do them every week or even a couple times a week if you feel you need. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.